What is going on, guys? Welcome to Talking Just with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and we're going to hang out. We're going to hang out for a couple of hours. We're going to be on the Aaron Rodgers watch. I got Twitter on this screen. I got chat up on this screen. We're going to see what happens. I'm hoping we can get some news. Remember, California is like 3 hours behind. We're gonna see what happens. So they're always gonna be a little bit behind whenever it comes to any of this stuff. So they're always gonna be a little bit behind. Yeah, I'm hoping we can get something. I'm hoping some type of news, some type of anything is gonna happen. Because like I said, yeah, I'm hoping we can get something. I'm hoping some type of I need to know. I need to know what's going on. Like I said, I need to know. I need. Oh man, I thought I have an Aaron Rodgers filter on Twitter, and like 3 things just broke all at the same time, and I thought maybe it's happening. It's happening right now, and I was like, nope. How great would that be? I just start my live stream, right at 8, like I said it was going to be, and Aaron Rodgers gets traded. How great would that be? That would be fantastic. Let's say some hi to some people. Tigo going live stream. You expecting news tonight? I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm expecting news tonight or anything like that. Like, I don't want to say I'm expecting news, but I'm not expecting news. That's my thing is, like, today it makes the most sense for it to go down. That gives our staff the weekend to really get their game plan ready for the new league year, which is going to start on Wednesday. Gives us time to start scouting players, for the legal tampering period, which starts on Monday. There's a lot of things going on there, in that kind of. I don't want to say in that realm, but yeah, like in that realm, there's a lot of things that can go on. There's a lot of stuff that can happen, and so. I'm not saying that there's not going to be news, but I'm not saying that there's not going to be news. Finger Lakes Jets fan, give us some hope, Tigo. Any updates from the restructures? Not that I know of, right? Like these restructures and the things that keep happening. You hearing a delay? Oh, shit, you are. Because I have the stream open on a different tab. Thank you very much, Billy SBC. Appreciate that. That's on me. That's on me. You guys it shouldn't be anymore. It's because I had the live stream open. I'm an idiot. Got to check on the health and all that stuff of the live stream, and I'm sitting here just like, because I don't have my headphones on, I can't hear anything. But like we expected these restructures to happen, right? Like that's my biggest thing is I always knew that we were going to be restructuring these players. We were going to try to create as much cap space as possible. And if you can restructure these players, and if you can keep doing all that stuff, why wouldn't you? So let's keep saying hi to some people in the chat. Sean Harris, it's going down. I hope you're right. I really, really do. Really, 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 really do. Sean Harris, you got some feedback in the background. Yep, took care of that. Hello, Billy. Thank you for informing me. Sean Harris, you're excited, bro. Keep it going. I very, very much am. New York Jets super fan. What is up, boys? What's up with you, New York Jets super fan? How are you doing this fine evening? Hank G in the house. What's going on? Jets mess in the house. How are you doing, good sir? They must just be hammering out the dollars to the Rodgers deal. It's 95% it's going to happen. I tend to agree with you, right? I tend to be in that same boat. I tend to be like, this deal has to... I think the deal at this point is done, in my opinion. And I truthfully think that we're waiting on Aaron Rodgers. And again, this makes a ton of sense when you look at the idea of Aaron Rodgers, like, waiting and phone notification. Billy, my phone vibrated. And was you liking your comment? Oh, you scared me. Thought I was getting a text from somebody saying it happened, and maybe like my Twitter was just slow. I think the deal is kind of already in place, and I think that we're honestly just kind of waiting for Aaron Rodgers to make his decision. Remember that the last 18 years he's been in one place where he's dominated the headlines. He's dominated every aspect of what's going on in Green Bay. He's been the star there. And to leave comfortability to go somewhere new and to go somewhere you haven't been, somewhere that you're going to have to deal with, that's a scary thing. So I don't blame Rodgers for taking his time, but just make your decision already. The perfect distraction while waiting for Aaron Rodgers? Talking about Aaron Rodgers. You're right, dude. You're absolutely right. I totally agree with you. Hank G. Lol. Billy, all of them laughing at me because Billy likes a comment that I responded to him. I appreciate you guys leaving your sacrifices to the algorithm gods in the comment section. I really do appreciate. Helps the algorithm. Arizona Jet fan in the house. What's going on? Billy likes something every 10 minutes. For real. At least I'm confident that JD will work out a better deal than what the Panthers negotiated with the Bears. I actually think that the Bears could have gotten more from the Panthers. Like, objectively, they should have gotten more from the Panthers. And, like, here's what I mean, right? DJ Moore always seemed like a player that wasn't going to re-sign in Carolina. He was on this was going to be the last year of his deal, and he wasn't going to re-sign in Carolina. He wanted to go somewhere where he could win, and that always like seemed like the end destination for me and what I imagined was going to happen. And then Carolina is in a position where they need a quarterback. David Tepper is being impatient. He needs to go get his quarterback. And in this draft, there are two quarterbacks that are like a Frank Reich wet dream. They are like built to be coached by Frank Reich and Josh McCown and all of those guys. That being said, if we look at the San Francisco 49ers trade, when they came up to 3, they gave up 3 first-round picks and I think it was a 3rd-round pick. No matter how much you like DJ Moore, I don't think they would have ever gotten anything more than a 3rd or a 4th-round pick for DJ Moore. So, like, if the trade was 3 first-round picks and DJ Moore, then I would have been like, damn, that's a trade. And that's a lot of stuff because that matches up almost exactly with what the 49ers Miami deal was for Trey Lance. But when they walk away, it's 2 firsts, a 3rd, and then a 2nd. Oh, no, it's 2 firsts, a 2nd this year, and then a 3rd the year after or something along those lines. I just look at it and I go, they could have gotten more. I agree the Bears didn't get enough. San Francisco gave you 3 firsts to go to 3, to go to 1. Exactly. It's different because they went to 3. They were getting the 3rd best quarterback. To go to 1, they should have gotten 3 firsts, DJ Moore, a 2nd this year. Like, they should have gotten the extra 1st. If this would have been this trade plus another 1st, that would have been one of those things where I look at it like, holy hell, what a trade. They got fleeced. But like, in the NFC South, where there's not any competition, if you get, let's say CJ Stroud is the pick there, which I think is ultimately going to be the pick. He's the most pro-ready of these rookies. Maybe you go out and you sign or even trade for a wide receiver to replace DJ Moore. You've got a good running game. Your offensive line's not horrible. You've got a solid defense. Frank Reich is supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. It makes a ton of sense in my mind for Carolina to do this because if they play in the NFC South and the NFC South stays bad, which it is right now, they could win the NFC South with 8 games. 9 games get you into the playoffs next year if you're in the NFC South. That's a reality of the situation. And I think they can. And so if that pick next year is in the mid-20s, I don't think you're that upset about it. And you've got your quarterback of the future, per se, matched up with your head coach of the future. It makes a lot of sense for both teams. Gotta love how JD worked this out. I mean, the Packers have nowhere to go but to the Jets, we're going to get a great deal out of this. I agree. When I look at this and I say, and the biggest problem with all of this is that they have publicly come out and said that they want to move on from him. They literally have no leverage. None. And so very, very exciting times for the New York Jets because we're going to get a Hall of Fame quarterback who, in my opinion, has 5 years left in the tank. I think all of this retirement talk, none of it was real. I think it was just to hold Green Bay over the fire. We saw Brett Favre, his mentor, do all of this stuff on his way out of Green Bay. And then Brett Favre came back for 3 or 4 more years, right? All of this retirement talk was just to screw over the Green Bay Packers. They weren't ready to move on to Love last year. They needed him. He won back-to-back MVPs, and they needed to give him the money that he deserved. So boom, he's holding him over a barrel there. He gives them all of this money. The Green Bay Packers give him all of this money, all of the money in the world. And then boom, they get shafted because this year, if he retires, it's a $99 million cap hit. And now they're ready to move on from him because he broke his thumb and they failed to surround him with weapons last year. So now they're ready to move on. And so the options that they have is they cannot have him retire. They need him to want to come back and play. And the only players or the only team that's interested is the New York Jets. Those are his options. Come back and play for the New York Jets or retire and leave $100 million on the table. I think he's got a good 4 to 5 years left in him, and I think it makes a lot of sense for him to come to the New York Jets because if he can win here, which I think that he can, it cements his legacy as one of the all-time greats. The second ring, winning more than 2 rings, winning more than 1 rings is an anomaly. It is the hardest thing in football is to win the Super Bowl. It's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing in sports is to win the Super Bowl. That's why so few quarterbacks do it. The Tom Brady dominance is such an outlier that we'll never see it again. We'll never see it again. And I love Mahomes. And I think Mahomes is the GOAT. I think by the end of his career, he will be the best quarterback the league has ever seen. But the reality is, Patrick Mahomes has 2 Super Bowl wins right now. It's going to be an uphill battle for him for the rest of his career. The Chargers are only getting better. Joe Burrow and the Bengals are only getting better. The Jets are competing. If Buffalo can fix Josh Allen and fix the offensive coordinator position, because right now the offensive coordinator is holding that team back. If they can fix, they're going to be competitive too. There's a lot of really, really good quarterbacks. That's just the AFC. I'm not even talking about the NFC. And if they can fix, like if the 49ers can fix the quarterback position, what happens if Seattle goes and gets Anthony Richardson to sit behind Geno Smith and they can develop him to be the next great quarterback? Dak Prescott is still around. Kirk Cousins is still around. There are a lot of really, really, really good teams in the NFL, and it's hard to win. And the AFC is only getting better. What happens if Sean Payton can fix Russell Wilson? I didn't even think of that. So it's one of those things where if he can get that second Super Bowl ring, it is so important to his legacy. Look at what it did for Peyton Manning. Look at what it did for Eli Manning. Is not a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he has 2 Super Bowl rings. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And that's just the reality of it. It's absolutely crazy. And I think it makes a ton of sense for him to come here. He's not going to win in Chicago, lol, but he wanted out. Absolutely. And here's the thing. Chicago is in a position where they can overpay him, give him the sun, the moon, and the stars, make him a $20 million wide receiver because they're not paying anybody. Justin Fields is on a rookie contract. They literally have all of the cap space in the world. And so, like, the Bears have $75 million in cap space as of right now, which is insane. Insane. In 2024, $178 million. So they can afford to give him an insanely massive deal and then work out the rest of the details later, right? And hope. And then this is their facsimile of trying to do the Diggs to Josh Allen situation. Now, I never liked Justin Field as a quarterback prospect. He was not I did not give him a first round grade in that draft. Coming out, I did not think he was worthy of the first round. His throwing motion is broken, and even though he's an insanely good athlete, which I will never deny that he's an insanely good athlete, as a thrower of the football, which is what wins you games, I have a lot of question marks about his game. But now they're going to fix the O-line by picking probably Paris Johnson Jr. at 9. They've given him all of the weapons in the world. You've got Claypool, you've got DJ Moore. They still got St. Brown there. They've got a pretty decent running game. There's no excuses on the offensive side of the ball for why he shouldn't work. So, yeah, Panthers are nuts. I don't agree. I think they did a good job. What about Carr and the Saints in that division? Here's the problem. I don't think that the Saints are competitive. That's the real thing. I think Derek Carr is by far and away the best quarterback in that division. I don't think the Saints are competitive. They have Olave, and that's great, but that's really it when they've got, in the sense of like wide receivers. Who's the other guy on the other side? Not Thomas. Who's the other guy? He came onto the scene really, really, really late last year. Oh, I forget his name. It's a weird name. You guys will... oh man, whatever. It's not important, but I have a hard time imagining that they're going to be able to keep that offensive line intact. They're like $60 million over the cap situation. Like, there's a lot of things there where it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen there. And that's my thing. I think that division is totally up for grabs. That's the whole point. I'm not saying that the Saints are going to be bad, but it's totally up for grabs. That's true. Brady played high level till 45 years old. Yeah, absolutely. You can't hit the quarterback anymore. So, like, of course he can play. Question, Tigo, do you think Baltimore would have taken the Carolina haul for Lamar? Lamar's stock is a lot lower than I thought if Carolina would rather go for an unproven rookie. It has nothing to do with Lamar's stock and everything to do with the contract. No team is going to give Lamar the fully guaranteed contract. And no team is going to go out and negotiate with Lamar Jackson and do all of that due diligence to come up with a scenario that works for them, knowing that the Baltimore Ravens are going to match whatever offer sheet is put on the table. The only offer sheet that the Baltimore Ravens cannot match, or probably will not match, is a fully guaranteed 5-year, $250 million contract. Now, I heard this nugget on NBC Sports, and I thought it was hilarious, and I think there's some merit to this. I think the NFL owners and the NFL are going to push John Snyder out of the NFL. And if he wants to stick and give a big middle finger to the NFL and to screw over all of these owners on his way out, if I was him, I would go to Lamar Jackson and I would say 5 years, $250 million guaranteed. I'm going to do all of it. And I'm going to work the salary cap so that the next year it's only like $25 or $30 million. And I'm going to screw over Washington because you guys are forcing me out. And now I'm going to set a precedent. This is the second quarterback to get a fully guaranteed deal. Boom. Screw you, NFL. Screw you guys. You guys want to force me out? You guys want to do all this stuff with me? Well, screw you. I'm gonna screw you back. And I think that would be hilarious. And so that's the deal. You are right. It is John Snyder. Whatever his first name is, Snyder, it could really do that. And I think that would be an option. Guys, follow me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. Like a lot. Twitter. Make it happen. What's up, Tigo? Got the invite, just not that savvy with YouTube. Lol. What's up, Phil? Love the New York Mets hat. Thank you very much. Braden Lambert, thank you for stopping by. These Packers fans on Twitter got me crying, laughing. Jude just said he thinks the Packers are going to get 3 firsts and sauce for Rodgers. Like, dude, like, your team is verbally, and like, they're so non-committal on Rodgers. Even the interview that the CEO did, Mark Murphy, he's so non-committal. He's like, yeah, no, we don't want him. Like, if you just read between the lines, they're saying, like, we really, 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 really hope that he wants to go to the New York Jets because we have no idea what we're going to do if he wants to come back. Like, no idea what we're going to do. Braden, maybe ragu sauce. Yeah, I'd give him a can of ragu sauce. Phil Tigo, if Mahomes wins less than 7 rings, he can't surpass Brady as the best and the GOAT. Talent, yes, but you must bring the rings. Marino, Elway, Manning, greatest 4 rings. 4-ring Montana, 7 Brady. Here's the thing, right? Like, you're always going to have that conversation, but if we look at the eras that they were playing in, like, Marino is probably one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Not winning a Super Bowl shouldn't take that away from him. Winning the Super Bowl is the hardest thing to do. Like, there's a good to fair chance, and I'm going to transition to basketball here a little bit. Like, when LeBron retires, there is a good to fair chance that, like, a Luka Doncic might end up being the best player in the NBA. But if the Mavericks continue to fail to surround him with anything that's worth a damn, he might not win an NBA championship. That shouldn't take away from the fact that he, at one point in time, might have been the best player in the NBA. Now, I'm not an NBA guy. I'm a Luka Doncic fan, and, like, that's really it. So I could be wrong here, but I keep hearing some hot takes from some people, and I'm just parroting their takes. But that's what I'm saying. A great example of this was Lionel Messi. He had to wait until he was 1 million years old and until FIFA and Qatar, they had to buy the World Cup for him to finally win one. It doesn't change the fact that he was probably the best player to ever live. Ever. And it doesn't change the fact that Pele went and won 3 and that record will never be matched ever in the history of ever. Rings are a part of it. You know what I mean? And that's a thing. But, like, Gronk has, I think he has 7 rings too, doesn't? No. Gronk has 4 or 5 rings, I think is what it is. He's not the best tight end to ever play the game. He's a great tight end, but he's not the best. So the totality of rings is a part of the equation. But I think with the NFL getting so good at the quarterback position, with these guys getting so good, this is an interesting conversation to have, actually. Like, I really like this, like, rings versus not, because it is the hardest thing to do. Because there's no point in cutting him. There's no guaranteed money. We need a punter, and until we can, like, bring in some competition or anything like that, there's no real point in cutting him right now. I don't think he's the punter day one because there's 0 ramifications if we cut him now or after June 1st or anything like that. And punters are pretty interchangeable. And, like, we don't clear up a ton of cap space by cutting him. You know, I think he's, like, on a $1.5-2 million deal. And that's ultimately what we're going to end up paying a new punter anyway. So you bring in a competition at camp. Whoever wins out keeps their contract, and at that point, you cut Braden Mann because he loses out the competition. My biggest worry about Rodgers is he's going to pull this same thing about if he wants to play next year or retire. I don't think so. I think the retiring thing has always been has always been a thing to stick it to the Packers because he threatened to retire so that he could get a new contract. Because he wanted a new contract, because he wasn't going to play on the final year of his deal. And he wasn't going to let the Green Bay Packers break from him that easily. I hate you, Ian. Why are you tweeting anything that's not? Oh, my God. I saw the Ian Rappaport tweet. Who cares? The Texans are worthless. Oh, I'm furious. I'm sorry. What was I talking about? Oh, yes. I think the retirement thing, it has everything to do with screwing over the Green Bay Packers and not actually want to retire. It's about being able to have the leverage in retirement. The best way and the best thing that I can say or analogy is the Brett Favre situation. Brett Favre threatened retirement just to get out of Green Bay, and he threatened retirement because he wanted to go to Minnesota. They wouldn't send him to Minnesota, so he came to the Jets. So that's that situation. This is coming from a Jets fan. Oh, I get it. Guys, what's happening? This situation is draining the life out of me. When will they announce it? Chris KV, I'm with you, man. I am with you. But Rodgers likes to take his time. And like I said earlier at the top of the stream, it makes a ton of sense, man. He's been in Green Bay for 18 years. And I know that retiring isn't an option, but if he wants to stay, that's a real thing. Oh, that's his name, Rashid Shaheed. Thank you. But there's a lot there. It's a real situation. This is a big move. If he leaves, he's leaving home. You know what I mean? Alrighty. Rodgers pulled that stuff with Green Bay the past couple of years because they didn't give him a voice with the roster and dumped his buddies. I see the Jets rolling out the red carpet for him for 2 or more years. I agree. Totally agree. Big guaranteed contract. I think this was talking about the Lamar situation. Dan Snyder. Yep. It is Dan Snyder. I think I said John. If the Jets lose Rodgers, you see a move towards Stafford. Stafford is untradeable. The Texans did. Stafford is untradeable. That contract is impossible to get out. Of. Like, impossible. The Rams, like, they paid Matt Stafford, and they take what? If they trade him, they take a $75 million dead cap hit. You know what I mean? And whatever team that he goes to only gets him on a $1.5 million cap hit. And the thing that you have to remember is that he's 35, and it's not a good 35. It's not a good 35. He's got back problems, got neck issues. These are the injuries that hurt. Like, they kick back. That they're not going to be able to get out from under that contract. Like, it's impossible for them. So I don't see that as an option. What's up, Wild Wave? Snyder can ultimately screw them all. Absolutely. Caden Smith, what's going on? Suns stuck it to the Mavs last week. Yep, I saw that. KG131, this whole Rodgers situation is driving me crazy. Like, dude, make up your mind. Yep, 100%. 100%. Tiago, I get the point. It is hard. It is a hard conversation, but for example, can you say, oh, that the CEO meets the eye test, super talented, but his company goes out of business, but another CEO, everything he touches turns to gold? Yeah, you can, right? Because, like, a lot of people, like, declare bankruptcy. Like, it happens. Like, Elon Musk had a couple of companies that go under, but that doesn't mean he's a bad CEO. He has 2 really successful companies and then a bunch of non-successful companies. We remember him for the successes that he has, not the failures. Mark Cuban, the same deal, right? He has a bunch of companies, and a couple of them are successes, and a lot of them aren't. Think about it. Good for Robert Woods, though, getting a new contract? Absolutely. I'm surprised that the Texans give it. Who do you pick for what? Hey, what's up, John? Tigo, were you surprised Miami picked up to his 5th-year option? Absolutely. I wouldn't have picked up the 5th-year option. I would have ran him on the 4th year, and I would have said, if you stay healthy, we'll extend you. If not, we can move on and we can go move up in the draft to go get our quarterback. And that's the situation. Tom Cahill, you think it's in the AM? So when it's happening on Monday? I don't think so. Who signed Woods? The Texans. After Rodgers is signed, Jets marketing should announce 12 is back in the building. Absolutely. Tigo, what is our win-loss when Rodgers gets here? I say 12-5. I think that's about right. Maybe not. Maybe more 11-6. It's one of those things, right? Yeah. I think more 11-6. We've got a really difficult schedule next year. You have to play the Chiefs. We're going to have to play the bloated, the empty husk that is the Philadelphia Eagles. The Bills are still going to be the Bills. Miami's theoretically should get better in year 2 under that system. And Skylar Thompson's going to have a year under his belt. So when he's starting, when Tua gets another concussion, he should be a little bit better. The Patriots still suck, but they are still the Patriots, so you can never really count them out. Our schedule's not easy next year, you know? So, yep. Dr. Despotigo, do you think that Rodgers has already agreed to a trade and the teams are waiting to release it for some reason? No, I think we're waiting on. Waiting on Rodgers. That's it. I think we're waiting on him to make his decision. I think it comes tonight. Like, if I'm being honest. Because then he can just dominate the weekend. Everybody's going to talk about, everybody's going to have time to sit here and marinate all weekend. He's going to drive all of the online. Everything is going to be Aaron Rodgers online. And then Monday hits. And when the talk on Monday should be free agency, it's not going to be free agency. Every single sports show is going to start their show and end their show with Aaron Rodgers talk. It makes a ton of sense for it to come out tonight. And again, he's in California, so if he calls up Joe Douglas and says, let's make it happen, I want to be a Jet, we make it happen instantly. Hit the sub button, guys. Listen to Nightbot. They know what they're talking about. Tigo, going to basketball, I know the newer gen wants LeBron to be the GOAT, but if he was slammed to the ground like Jordan was, he wouldn't have lasted. He cries every call. Jordan today averages close to 45 a game. See, I never liked this analogy. It's different games. The reason that he cries for every call is because he should. It's gamesmanship. If you're not, it's like in soccer where everyone's like, oh, they're diving. Of course you are. Like, you're trying to get the call. Every time somebody does anything, you try to get the call. The whole game is about manipulating the refs and scoring points. Why do you think Taylor Heineke went down and got hit at the end to end that game against, I think it was Philly or whoever it was when they won that game that they shouldn't have won throughout the year? You're trying to get the call. If they're not calling it, you're not going to start, flopping in any sport is a product of the refs. If the refs are calling a certain type of foul, you're going to they're going to exaggerate those things to make those calls. And so, yeah, that's how I look at it. Now, I'm not saying that Jordan's not the GOAT because I'm on that train. I think Jordan is the GOAT. But I never liked the comparing eras because they weren't calling things back then. So what was the point of Jordan crying if they're not going to call it? If Jordan played in today's NFL, he would be going for the call because the calls are going to help him score more points. You can't play defense now. And that's not like LeBron didn't do that. The league did that. And so I'm just saying. Rodgers should act Zach for 2. Come on, Arizona Jet. You can't do that. Bears made a great trade. Now they can select one of the tackles to protect Fields. I think Paris Johnson Jr. is going to Chicago. I think it makes a ton of sense. My point, Tigo, is the first CEO never gets there. But that's a different conversation, right? If a CEO gets one company that's successful and another CEO gets 10 companies that's successful, it doesn't mean that one is better than the other, right? If you have 10 minor businesses because there was no one to compete with, it's, again, I get the analogy. It's just, again, what do you think? Rodgers makes it official. Like I said, I'm hoping that it happens tonight. I've got it open. I've got it ready. I think that that's ultimately the thing that makes the most sense, but that's why we're live. But yeah, I thought Rodgers was a nut job, but saw a video on Rogan that he was very sensible. Yeah, man, he's not this crazy. A lot of people like to drive this this narrative about Aaron Rodgers that I never really truly understood, in my opinion. Yeah, he's a bit eccentric and all of these things, but you're allowed to be. He's not doing anything out of this world or ridiculous. The biggest thing is everyone's like, oh, all this retirement talk. I'm like, dude, the team drafted his replacement. He then went on to win 2 back-to-back MVPs, and they didn't want to pay him. Of course he's going to do all this stuff. Who wouldn't? Caden Smith, thoughts on Jack Campbell from Iowa in the second round. Also been subscribed since I think you were around 100 subs. We're all brothers in Jets Nation. Thank you, Caden Smith, for being an OG sub. I love me some Jack Campbell. Love me some Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell is my favorite linebacker in this class. He just doesn't make sense for the Jets, unfortunately. The Jack Campbell is a Mike linebacker. He is a middle linebacker, and unfortunately, that's not what we need. We have middle linebackers. We've got 2 of them. We've got C.J. Mosley. We've got Jamie Sherwood. The problem is we need the will. We need the weak side linebacker, the Quincy, the Quan, the Marcel Harris, and Jack would not transition to the will linebacker effectively. He is a patrolling the middle of the field, coming downhill and dropping the hit. And that's what he is. He's not a will. And that's where, I have a problem with Jack Campbell to the Jets. Whatever team he's going to go to, I think he's going to be fantastic. I love Jack Campbell. I don't know if you guys remember Chad Muma from last year. Same kind of love that I have for him, even though Chad Muma and Jack Campbell are different types of players. Jordan Crichton average 50, 100%. Like the Mahomes flop versus Cincy? Absolutely! Blade Runner, thank you so much for subscribing. Guys, if you subscribe, you get to see the dancing dinosaur. Woohoo! Also, if you want to get your chat read immediately, super chats skip the line. They immediately jump up to the top. Here's the other thing. If you wanted to support me in a more direct way and not have YouTube take half of the money, you can drop a donation. The link is right in the description, and that interrupts the whole stream. I answer that question immediately. We stop what we're doing, and we do things there. Only shameless plug I'm going to do. You can also check out the Talkin' Jets with Tigo merch in the description. That's it. Last shameless plug. We're done. Durant and Curry wouldn't have lasted either in Jordan's physical era. Again, yeah, probably. They're really kind of, they have like slim, slender bodies. I don't think they would have been able to handle the punishment. Bears could have gotten more. Why didn't they? I still think the Texans get a good QB. Yeah, I think what's going to end up with the Texans is they're either going to, here's the thing. I think the Texans are going to do the dumb thing, and they're going to take Young. If they take Young, they're stupid. Now, if I'm the Texans, I legitimately look at Anthony Richardson and I legitimately look at Will Levis. If you think your coaching staff can develop a quarterback, like really and truly develop a quarterback, AR-15 and Will Levis are better prospects than Bryce Young, because I can't trust a 5'10", 180-pound quarterback. Can't do it. The first Matt Milano hit to the chest, the first one, he's dead. Dies. Career's over. You know what I mean? Mike White is like 6'2", 220, and he was bent over by Matt Milano. Imagine that to a guy who's 5'10", 180 pounds. It's not going to happen, dude. Not going to happen. Jack are checking out Odell's workout. They should. Odell to the New York Jets makes a ton of sense. He's going to be on a relatively cheap deal because he's not going to be able to really ask for a whole ton of money. Like, he's going to want $15 million. He's not going to get it. He hasn't played football in a year, right? This is another knee injury. No team is going to give a 30-plus-year-old wide receiver that much money at all. So my expectation is that if OBJ signs with a team, he'll sign for a team for $6 million. Diana Rossini. No! Stop! I don't care. Don't care about Cortland Sutton, but apparently he's available. Oh, never mind. Denver is not shopping him. Never mind. Damn it. I thought the news happened. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. And so I think the deal would be like OBJ at like $5 or $6 million with like $5 or $6 million worth of incentives if he plays a certain number of snaps and if he gets a certain number of yards and if the team makes the playoffs and if the team makes it to the Super Bowl. And so you can make it an insanely incentive-laden like contract, and like he can still make his money, but you're not going to guarantee that money because he hasn't played football in a year. It's another knee injury. Yep. Just subscribe. Yep, we saw it, Blade Runner. Thank you so very much. Is it true Rodgers got an apartment in Manhattan? It is true. He does have an apartment in Manhattan, and that's so that he could see his girlfriend. That has nothing to do with the New York Jets. But he has a girlfriend in New York, the owner of the Bucks. And not the Buccaneers, the Bucks, like the Milwaukee Bucks. His daughter is his girlfriend. Damn it. Okay. Tico, do you think Zadarius Smith ask for his release so he can join Rodgers in New York? No. I think he kind of sees the writing on the walls that Minnesota is kind of plateauing, and he wants to go ring chase. I don't think he thinks that he can win a ring in Minnesota, and even at his age, how old is Zadarius Smith? I'll look it up. If you guys beat me to it and put it in the chat, good on you, but I don't think you will. I think I'm faster than all of you. Where's Minnesota? They're in the NFC. Boom, there's Minnesota. Roster. No, lineup. Zadarius Smith. Beat you. He is 30 years old, and so I think he would like to hit the market one more time, get another big contract, and ultimately try to ring chase. The real problem with what was his snaps? Let me look this up. Let me look up the player in premium stats. Let me see something. Smith. Give me 2 seconds. I want to see his breakdown. No. How do you spell his name? Oh, give me a second, guys. I'm trying to find Zadarius Smith. Because if Zadarius Smith can play inside, because I don't remember his snap alignment when he was playing. If he can play inside, now you're interesting me. Now you're interesting me. By team, Minnesota. Where's Minnesota? Why can I never find? There it is. Minnesota Vikings. Defense. Zadarius Smith. Beautiful. And then snaps by position. Right end. Where did he take most of his snaps? Yeah. Okay, so he was primarily playing on the edge. Okay, sorry that took so long. But ultimately, I don't think Zadarius Smith makes a lot of sense for the New York Jets because of the fact that he is an edge. We don't need the edge. We need the interior guys. So if, he could play on the inside, and I don't know if he can, but if he could play on the inside, that would make a lot more sense. And so he's playing an outside linebacker role. So he's playing on the edge a majority of his time. We don't really need to spend another $10 million on an edge. That's why we're getting rid of Carl Lawson, right? Because of all of the money, and we have young guys. Hit the linebacker from the University of Cincinnati. I don't remember him. But I do remember, I don't think I like him. I have to see his name. Linebackers. Ivan Pace Jr., not a fan. I'm not mad at it. If we were to go get him. But he seems like I don't know. When I was doing my linebacker tape, I'd have to go find my notes. I remember having kind of some issues with him. Thoughts on Antonio Johnson from A&M? Also, how's your kid? His name is Ben, right? Yes, his name is Ben. He is awesome. He is sleeping right now. I think you're talking about Antonio Johnson, I believe, right? Texas A&M. Yep, Antonio Johnson. Phenomenal prospect. If the Jets were to take a safety, this would be the safety that I would want to take. The problem is I don't think the Jets are going to take a safety. I think when you trade for Chuck Clark, I think that kind of answers your safety problem there. Now, I'm not saying that we don't, that we're going to run Chuck Clark and Jordan Whitehead, or that we're not going to get rid of Jordan Whitehead. But my thing is, I don't think we're going to draft a safety that high. I think we're going to try to fix safety with low, cheap talent. In my opinion, this guy is already a New York Jet. Give me 6 seconds. He is from San Francisco. And no, I am not talking about Jimmy Ward. I'm talking about the other guy from San Francisco who was the safety in San Francisco. Give me a second. What's his name? Tashawn Gibson Jr. That's the one. I think that he is ultimately the guy that we bring in. If we cut Jordan Whitehead, which might happen, I think Tashawn Gibson Sr. makes a lot of sense. He played free safety for the San Francisco 49ers. He played single high safety for them a majority of his time there. And he gives us exactly what LaMarcus Joyner did, but at a much higher level. He gives us an opportunity to push the can of finding a safety down the road one more year and saying, you know what, let's address the defensive line because we need to get an interior defensive lineman, which is a bigger priority. Let's address linebacker, which is a bigger priority. And boom. Now you've got two safeties because I think you can cut Jordan Whitehead, extend Chuck Clark on a similar Jordan Whitehead deal, but beyond 2 years. Extend Chuck Clark and keep him around because he's only 27. And then in next year's draft, you can start legitimately looking at a safety in the first or the second round to be your free safety. And you can move on from Tashawn Gibson Jr. Because right now I look at it and I go, there are bigger needs than safety. And if we can address safety in free agency for really cheap and get adequate play, I'm on board with doing that. So I think Tashawn Gibson Sr. is the move. Does anyone move up to 3 to screw over Indy? Absolutely. I think we're going to get that trade in the next couple of days. Tigo, what's your opinion on Thielen and OBJ to the Jets? I love Thielen, and I cannot be objective when it comes to Thielen. I love me some Thielen, and I would love if he came to the Jets. Now, there are problems. Thielen is old. He's on the wrong side of 30, and he's not playing well, like at all. He's looking like he can't create the separation. He doesn't have that edge. He doesn't have that step. But I still think that he's a threat. I really, really do. And so, yeah. When do we start worrying about the deal getting done? Monday. That Monday. And which is better, it's probably OBJ. Do you have a chance? Do we have a chance to sign Matt Milano? No, they never let him go. They're going to extend him the moment that he becomes a free agent, or the moment that they can. Didn't they already give him an extension? Let me pull up the Bills. Let me pull up the word. No. Cap space. The Bills. Matt Milano. Yeah, they already extended him. He's got one more year on his deal, and then they got 2 void years on the back end of it, and then I think they extend him. Fun fact, Matt Milano was a year ahead of me in high school. He actually ended my football career. True story. Look it up. My freshman year, I was at Dr. Phillips High School. The same school that he went to. He was on the varsity team. I was on the JV team. And I was the backup quarterback on the JV team. And we were running reps, and I was getting a shot at the starting position for the JV team because I was a quarterback in high school, and I was pretty good, even though I was small. Give me a second. Nope. And he came running up the middle, just like he did to Mike White. I didn't see him because I was a shorter quarterback. I couldn't see over the line. I didn't see the white jersey coming, and he folded me in half. And I woke up on the sideline with people worried about me. And, yeah. And then I quit the next day. Pretty sure Mike White is 6'4", 6'5". Jesus, I was wrong there then. Would you trade Corey Davis and a pick for Courtland Sutton? I would. No. I think they're relatively similar players. Courtland Sutton's on a much bigger contract, in my opinion. I wouldn't do it. Realistically speaking, if I'm the New York Jets, the thing that I would do is I would try to keep Corey Davis because his contract is so team friendly. And then I would bring in Randall Cobb, obviously, to be the Braxton Berrios replacement. And this is under the assumption that Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Jets. Now, if for some reason you do have to move on from Corey Davis, then I'm seriously looking at Thielen or OBJ. And again, this is for them to be wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 on the roster, because I think we have a bunch of really, really good wide receivers. But that's that. Hit the sub button, guys. KJ3. I see that too. When we trade for for Aaron, as long as we keep our first, I'd trade back. Recoup picks for Sutton, then we'd have the perfect wide receiver room. Again, I'm not the biggest Sutton guy, but I get it. No, he's a Reg. He just signed last year with them. Yep, but I think he requested they play a 3-4. Yep. Sign Cam. Cam who, BTS? Cam who? There's a lot of Cams. Cam Newton, Cam Hayward. I think you're talking Cam Hayward, right? Because I'm on board. I love it. Is this a non-Jets forever free zone, Tigo in chat? Well, he's never been in my chat once. So until that happens, absolutely. Buffalo Jet fan. Dude, if you want to come on, let me know. I'll send you the link. If you're still in here. I don't know if you're still in here. But if you want to come on, freaking boom. I sent you the link. If you want to come on, shoot me a DM. We'll have you on. Come talk for a little bit. You don't have to stay. We can chat for a little bit. I still really want a safety in this draft. I see Chuck Clark as a strong safety. I'd cut Whitehead. I'd also love Chris Smith in the second. Free safety, alpha leader on Georgia D. Ballhawk. Absolutely. I just think it's a little bit of a like reach for a position that's not a need. Yes, we need a safety, but it's not that desperate of a need. I would totally be cool if we just ran Tony Adams the whole year. Like if we cut Jordan Whitehead, put Chuck Clark as a strong safety, even though I think he can play free safety as well, and he can do it extremely well. If that's the case, right, and he can do those things, no, it isn't. I'm on Twitter. Thanks, Fatty. I have it open. I have 3 monitors. Not going to be able to trick me with that. And so, like, even if that's the case, there are other positions. Like in the second round, I would much rather go defensive tackle because that's a much bigger need. Because only defensive tackle we have right now is Quinnen Williams. Now, if free agency comes and we bring back Rankins and we sign Cam Hayward and then, we bring back Shepard and now we've got our guys, that's a different conversation. Like, and we cut Whitehead and Ashton Davis. So now the only safeties that we have on the roster is, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's other needs, in my opinion. What's up, man? Didn't Milano sign? Yeah, he did. How's the Jets O-line looking? I think the O-line is a lot better than expected. Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Let's put him in timeout for that one. Put user in timeout. 300 seconds, buddy. Can't be doing that stuff. I think a lot of people are a lot more down on our O-line than they should be. I think our O-line was just unfortunately plagued with injuries. And it's not a real assessment of what our O-line is. I think Mekhi Becton got a raw deal by getting hurt twice, and both of those injuries were inflicted on him. Not like he was just like he was hurt. Like he was like... I think Mekhi Becton, when it comes to week 1, is our starting left tackle. He looks so healthy and so motivated in all of these pictures that he's posting daily. It is going to be impossible to keep him off the field. You're not going to do it. Mekhi Becton right now is the best tackle that we have on our roster. Hands down. The problem and the concern is health. And I understand why you would want to draft an offensive tackle in the first round. And I'm not even telling you not to draft an offensive tackle in the first round. But if Mekhi Becton is healthy, and this is a big if he's healthy, he's the best left tackle on our roster, and he wins that job 9 times out of 10. So, and then Dwayne Brown is coming back, and he's finally going to play with 2 arms because he was playing with 1 arm last year. And so if you're telling me, you know what, Mekhi Becton, out of respect for Dwayne Brown and his age, and because he's been a left tackle his whole career, he's going to play left tackle. Mekhi Becton is going to play right tackle. You know who's going to back up Mekhi Becton? Max Mitchell, who played excellently last year, even though maybe it was a year early. And that's going to give you the ability to bump Elijah Vera Tucker back inside to right guard. Laken Tomlinson is going to be playing left guard, and he should play better next to a healthy Dwayne Brown. And then we're going to bring in a center, probably like a Corey Linsley or a Ben Jones or an Ethan Pocic. I think those guys make a ton of sense. And now our offensive line is solid. You've got Max Mitchell backing him up. You draft a center in the 3rd or the 4th round. Luke Weipler is a guy that I really, really like. If he's there in the 3rd round, I would jump on that. And he can play center and guard, so you got your Dan Feeney replacement. I would bring back Nate Herbig on the same deal that he signed with the Eagles, 1 year, $2.5 million. And now there you've got, that's 5, 6, 7. Those are 8 guys right there that you're filling the offensive line with. And then, you know what? Bring back Cedric Ogbehi because he didn't cost you anything, or draft a tackle in the middle rounds, or if all of those things happen, I'm not saying if all of those things happen. Like, if we just have relative health on the offensive line, we're solid. And so, yeah, I think we're in a much better spot than a lot of people think, because last year we were just, remember like 2 years ago where we couldn't keep a healthy defense together? We had that same problem just with our offensive line. We ran the most combination of 5 offensive linemen of any team in the NFL. So, yep. I love me some Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think the problem with that is I think 13 is a bit high for a Jackson Smith-Njigba. I don't think there's any wide receiver that's worth a top 10 pick in this draft. Personally, I think some of them are going to go in the top 10. And I think that with the history of Aaron Rodgers maybe not being the best of friends with rookie wide receivers, maybe that risk is a little bit high. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just a little bit high of a risk, in my opinion. Higo, what's your most impactful receiver in the draft? I think it's Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think he is a route running savant. I know that he's not the fastest of guys, but he doesn't create. A lot of guys create separation with speed. Great examples of that are Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison. They create their separation with speed. Jackson Smith-Njigba is a quarterback in the slot. And that's the way that I look at it. Do you guys, what was the guy with the Patriots? He does the commercials now. Julian Edelman, thank you. Julian Edelman was such a good wide receiver, not because he was the fastest wide receiver or because he was the strongest wide receiver or it's because he was essentially a quarterback in the slot. And that's what I think JSN can do. He understands defenses at such a high level. He understands what he's seeing and what's in front of him and where the space is. And in a league where King Glowski, thank you for subscribing. In a league where you see so much zone coverage, being able to find the space is a huge skill set, and being able to find the space without being schemed to be open is a huge deal. And so I really like Jackson Smith-Njigba. I just wouldn't draft it because I think you can get a very similar facsimile to that in Randall Cobb for $1 million. And now the Jackson Smith-Njigba trade or pick, which would have to be at 13, you can trade out of 13, recoup the second round pick that you're going to lose for Aaron Rodgers, and pick in the later part of the first round where maybe there might be some players that are a little bit more interesting. In my perfect world, I don't want the New York Jets picking in the first round of this year's draft at all. I think there are more second and third round players at positions that the New York Jets need that can be more impactful for this team. And if we can get an extra first round pick next year, that to me is an ideal situation. Because ultimately, I think next year we're looking at making the playoffs and possibly winning the Super Bowl and doing all those things. And having 2 first-round picks theoretically in next year's draft is a big help, especially if maybe one of the conditions on that draft is like on those picks is maybe we give up the first for Aaron Rodgers if we make it to the Super Bowl and we do all those things. I'd still like to have another first-round pick. And next year's draft class is, just like Wild Wave just said it, next year's draft class is so much better than this year's. This year's draft class is atrocious. I like the quarterbacks, and I like Jalen Carter, and that's about it. This quarterback is filled with Jags, right? Just a guy. And you can get quality players all the way in like the middle rounds. Wait, let me see something. No, he's not in here. So that's the way that I look at it. It's JSN. I love him. Just like Buffalo says it right here. He's a technician. He's not a freak athlete. JSN is Keenan. He's a technician. Boom. makes it. That's what happens. He probably will just to give it to them. I don't know what's that in reference to. Yeah, it was. If not filled free agency, I'm tired of the upside. Give me Skoronski. Even trade up for a steady presence. One of Schmitz or Weipler. You can't leave center to a rookie. I don't think so. I don't think you can leave center to rookie at all. Does not make sense in my mind for you to do that, especially with a veteran quarterback. You're going to have to bring in somebody to be that veteran, to be that starter, because that's just how you're going to appease Aaron, in my opinion. So like Ben Jones makes so much sense to me because he's insanely good. He's a top 10 center in the NFL. He's familiar with our offensive line coach, and he's probably only going to be around for a year or two. So a Luke Weipler in the third, who I'm a huge fan of, and bring another Jets fan home. I love the idea of that. And then sided bonus would be that he would practice with Zach Wilson on the practice field. And let's say if we only get 2 years of, I still believe in Zach. I think he can fix it, but that's not what we're here to talk about. But in 2 or 3 years, if we do decide to run it with Zach to see what we're having, because Aaron decides to retire into the sunset after winning 2 Super Bowls with the Jets, then Weipler and Zach would have a lot of chemistry. So there's a lot of benefit there. If it's not Zach, Weipler's going to have a lot of understanding of the scheme, and he's going to be able to help whatever rookie quarterback we get. Boom. I see it as so important because it was the weakest part of our D last year. If we run it back with Quan and Quincy, our linebackers are good. I just want to restructure Lawson and keep the D line together. I get that sentiment. Here's the problem. The Houston Texans exist. And what do the Houston Texans run? Our exact same scheme. Like 100%. They run our scheme. And so the problem there is we're not going to be able to pay Quan Alexander and Quincy Williams. And they're at a point in their careers where they're not ring chasing yet. They're not sticking around for legacy. They want to get paid. And the Texans can give Quincy Williams $8 million a year for the next 3 years. We can't. The Texans can give Quan Alexander $4 or $5 million a year for the next 3 or 4 years. We can't. We're not in that position. We need Quan Alexander to be back at $2 or $3 million. It's just the reality of it. We need Quincy to be back at $5 or $6 million. That's the reality of it. And the problem is going to be that they're not going to want to do that. They're going to want to get paid. So linebacker is going to be a massive need. This is why I hope we only really have space for one huge free agent signing. And I'm talking like 10 million plus free agent signing. And I really, 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 really hope that it's Tremaine Edmonds. Like I really hope it's Tremaine Edmonds. But yeah. Our O-line depends on Mackay, and that is scary. AVT is solid. Lakin will be better. Dwayne Brown is a very nice vet. We need a cheap center and to draft an offensive tackle. Again, we have other things. There's a lot of ways that we can go. I'm a little bit more confident in our offensive line personally, but yeah, I agree, Tigo. I don't know what it is, but me and Hawk agreeing on something. Look at that. Who do you see coming out? Who do you see coming out with impact? Do you mean in the draft? Jalen Carter, I think, is going to be an immediate game changer for whatever defensive line that he goes to. Brian Branch, if he's put at a strong safety position, truly told, hey, you're going to play strong safety, essentially linebacker. If he's given who's the safety that the Ravens took? Kyle Hamilton. If he's given the Kyle Hamilton treatment where he's considered the big nickel, not slot corner, but like a big nickel, slot corner, strong safety kind of role, which is what Kyle Hamilton was given this past year because Chuck Clark was so good. Kyle Hamilton couldn't win that job because Chuck Clark was so good. It makes a ton of sense. He can be insanely impactful. He's a sure tackler, does all of those things. John Michael Schmitz is probably going to be a day one starter for whatever team that he goes to, and is going to be fantastic as a day one starter. Probably just league average year one, and that's fantastic for a rookie. Peter Skoronski, I think, is going to be phenomenal whatever team he goes to. And yeah, I think that's about it. of guys that like I'm sure are going to work. Since we're not carrying a fullback, do you think Ruckert might handle some of those duties? I wouldn't be surprised if we bring back a fullback. Don't count that out. We might bring back Bawden. Bawden got a season-ending injury, but before he was hurt, he was like considered one of the best fullbacks in the NFL. I had a whole video ready for him. Like a whole last video ready for Nick Bawden and Nick Bawden alone. Guys, I keep doing that to check if someone... I sent the link out to a couple people if they want to join. So, yeah. So, yeah. So that's why I keep switching to the other scene, because I can't check it. You know... Oh, wait. Actually... Sorry, one more time. No. One more time. Collab cam. Haha, brilliant. I'm brilliant. But yeah. So there's that. I wouldn't expect us not, like, we could bring back Nick Bawden. He's going to be 1 year, $1 million. It's not going to be a lot of money there. And with us losing with us losing J-Rob, the running back, I don't know if we're going to like we could carry a fullback. That's a real thing. I don't know. But if not, yeah, I could definitely see him in that role. Personally, I would have CJ Uzama more as a fullback in those situations, because I think he's a better blocker in that sense. But yeah. KJ131, I don't like the idea of depending on a 40-year-old tackle in Dwayne Brown and an injury-prone Becton to last 70 games. I get the Mekhi Becton, but I don't get the Dwayne Brown one. Dwayne Brown last year played the whole year until like we were out and he didn't have to play. He played the whole year on one arm and one shoulder, and then he's 1 year removed from being a Pro Bowler at left tackle. I am so totally cool with keeping Dwayne Brown there. Offensive linemen aged like fine wine, and while I'm higher on Mekhi Becton, I understand why people aren't, but we have Elijah Vera Tucker for that exact reason. He can play right tackle, he can play left tackle, and it's easier for us to find a quality guard to play next to Elijah Vera Tucker than it would be to find a quality tackle. We don't know what Peter Skoronski is going to be as a tackle or anything like that. I have a lot of faith in him to play tackle, but what if he can't? What if he's only really a guard at the next level? There's a lot of that conversation. We don't know that Paris Johnson Jr. or Broderick Jones are going to be good tackles at the next level. We hope and we project that they can be because of their skill sets, but we see it all the time that it doesn't work out. So, yeah. Bajan, I agree before you say anything. Oh, Hawk with the Bajan. Jets, baby. Thanks for subscribing again. Edelman gets first step, knows the open areas. Exactly. We need to find out which pick we're losing, whether it's the second or third this year. Absolutely. I think it's the second, but we need to see what's happening. Oh, crap. Doesn't even have to be Bajan. I just want playmakers early and defensive and offensive lineman depth later. Yeah, I get that. I get that sentiment a lot. Nope. Oh, over here. Next year is going to be a great draft. Oh, absolutely. This year's draft, the meat is in the middle of the rounds. Correct. I love what you just said, Tigo, about how there are so many talented players in the second and third round. I love John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota. Your thoughts on him? He is the best interior offensive lineman in this draft, in my opinion. And the unfortunate part is he's not a second-round pick anymore. I think he's a first-round pick, hands down. I think Minnesota would love to get him. I think Cincinnati would love to get him. He comes in and he, like, just to have the fifth-year option on him. I think he's the best center in this class. I think he's a day one impactful starter. Like, if Bijan Robinson isn't there for the Buffalo Bills, like, the Bills might want to go take him. The Tennessee Titans, if they trade out because they don't want to take, like, whatever, like one of the tackles, like, there are so many teams that'll, like, love to take him in the first round. And so that would be my situation. Like, if the Chargers cut Corey Linsley, boom, there's another team that could take a center. John Michael Schmitz in the first is going to happen. Book it. I don't know if you heard it anywhere, but if you heard it here first, you heard it here first. I think you there. Does Carter fall to 13? I don't see how okay. No. No? No. Ooh. Detroit. No, Detroit's going to take the edge. The Falcons are going to take the wide receiver. Could the Eagles go defensive line in the first round in back-to-back drafts? Oh, the Texans. Yeah, no. There's no way he makes it to 13. I was looking at the draft, right? Here's the way that it goes. If Anthony Richardson isn't, oh, man, crazy Tigo hair. Look at that. Guys, I need a haircut desperately. I'm going to let my hair breathe for a little bit. I'm going to look a little crazy for a little bit, guys. Jalen Carter is the only prospect that I've given an elite grade to this draft. The only one. And if he is available at 5 and Anthony Richardson is off the board, the Seattle Seahawks are taking him 100% of the time. Every day. They have built it up. They are the only franchise that have built up enough goodwill to take a player who has character concerns and has just been accused of like murdering people inadvertently, right? Because they're 2 misdemeanors. They are the only organization in the top 5 that has built up enough goodwill with their fan base to justify doing something like that. So if the Seahawks and Anthony Richardson is off the board with the mock draft that I did on Twitter, go follow me on Twitter, Jets with Tigo, shows the first 4 picks were quarterbacks. So Anthony Richardson went to the Colts at 4. Seattle takes Jalen Carter. Now, let's say Anthony Richardson is there at 4 or at 5. And I think that's what Seattle should do is take Anthony Richardson. If that's the case, then I can see the Lions maybe going interior defensive line. But if he's there at 12, the Texans will sprint to the podium. Sprint. Guys, what do you think of my Vineyard Vines whale cup? I love it. It's one of my favorites. Matches my tattoo. I love it. All right. Great drafts. What's going on? With the Bears trading back, expect them to grab a tackle. Oh yeah, Paris Johnson Jr. to the Bears. Book it. It's gonna happen. That's what I have in my mock draft. I think that happens 100%. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Great point, Ben Jones. Tigo saw that. I love Ben Jones. Cobb is a dog, guys. I think he is like 15-2 against the Bears. But the best thing about bringing him in is that he will give the receivers the cheat codes to the way 12 operates. Absolutely. That's another I didn't even think about that. That's a great point, Spencer. It's a fantastic point. He knows how Aaron Rodgers operates. He knows the ins and outs, what Aaron Rodgers needs, and what you should do to make him happy, yada, 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 yada. That makes a lot of sense. Yo, I'm going to steal this as my own take, and I'll credit you, Spencer. No, I'm kidding. This is fantastic. This is a great point by Spencer. Well done. I met Peter Skoronski. I love Peter Skoronski. It's just, I don't know if he's there at 12 or 13. Like, you know what? I'm going to say it. I guarantee you he's not going to be there at 13. With the Bears now 100% taking a tackle and the Titans 100% taking a tackle, the only option is we've got to hope that Anton Harrison or Broderick Jones or Darnell Wright is there. I'm a little bit more of a Anton Harrison than Broderick Jones guy, but I get it if we went Broderick Jones. I think he has the highest ceiling when it comes to the tackles in this class. And there's conversation that Darnell Wright might be a first-round pick, but that's another really, really big dude, and I don't know how he translates into our scheme when we ask him to really run and pull and do all those things. But yeah. Lawson should be better this year. He will be 2 years removed from his injury. Here's the thing. There's no winning with Lawson because either you keep him around and he's a really big cap hit. You extend him. Here's the thing. Here's the real thing. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Here's the real thing. Is that Carl Lawson, the only win with Carl Lawson is if he is willing to extend his deal to add, let's say, 2 more years to his deal and to lower his cap number. Now, if you're Carl Lawson, why would you do that? The man's going to get paid if he hits free agency as an edge, I think. So I have a hard time seeing that happen. So then if you keep Carl Lawson, he's a pretty big cap hit. What's his cap hit? I don't know it off the top of my head. Cap space, Jets. Carl, $15 million. Deshaun Lattimore, thank you for subscribing. I love you. He's a $15 million cap hit. And so you can save a $15 million by cutting him. And so it's a lose-lose situation, John, because if you cut him, know that 100% he's going to go to a new team and dominate. Just know that that's going to happen. But if he stays on the Jets and dominates, that means that we're not going to be able to bring in other players. And when we're looking at a defensive line group that has Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens and Bryce Huff and these guys like that, which I have a lot of confidence in, you have to be okay with losing good players. As a good team, which is what the Jets are now, you have to be okay with losing good players. That's the reality. And so that's like, I really hope that we can figure out a way to keep Carl Lawson around. If we can keep Carl Lawson around at $10 million, I would love that. If you're telling me that we can bring him in for, like, give him a 2-year extension on top of the 1 year, so it's a total of 3 years, and bring... I would love it. I would love it. Sign me up. I just don't see him taking the pay cut. That's the thing. Aaron Rodgers will speak at the Psychedelic Science 2023 event in June per TMZ. Yep, I saw that. That's hilarious to me. Guys, there's my Twitter. I was talking about it earlier. Talking Jets with Tigo. Boom. Go follow me. Brant Skoronski-Schmitz was thinking same as steady starters. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So you like Campbell but don't see him as an exact fit. Then which linebacker would you pick to be our will linebacker? Oh, man. Let me go look at the big boards. Deion Henley, but he's outclassed us. He's going to be way too expensive now. DeMarvion Overshone out of Texas is a good one. I like DeMarvion Overshone. He can be an option there. Noah Sewell out of Oregon is another one. Owen Papo out of Auburn. I like him a lot. I know a lot of people aren't going to be a fan of this, especially because he just got hurt. But I would take J.L. Skinner, the safety, out of Boise State and turn him into a linebacker. That would be my number one option if I could. I think that his skill set, his size, his athleticism, and his speed are much better suited to being a linebacker than to being a safety at the next level at the NFL. And I would convert J.L. Skinner to linebacker. But yeah. Tigo, what do you think of the tight end in a later round? Heard it's a very deep class. Yes, but we've got 4 tight ends on the roster right now. I have a hard time thinking that this staff is going to use another pick on a tight end. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, like, the Dalton Kincaids to the Jets in the first round. And, like, while I'm a big fan of Dalton Kincaid and this tight end class is insanely good, like, it again comes back to I'm not mad at it, but we have other needs that we need to address. Are we really taking a tight end here? Really? So, yeah. I think Skoronski at the very least could be a very good inside lineman. Here's the thing. He's Elijah Vera Tucker. He is an all-pro guard, pretty good tackle in the NFL. It's just a matter of what do you see him as. That's how I look at Peter Skoronski. He is an Elijah Vera Tucker clone. Could Schmitz actually be the pick at 13 if he continues to rise up the board? No. I think his ceiling is late 20s. I think the earliest he can go is 21 to the Chargers if they cut Lindsley. That's the earliest. Straight 100 Jets, what's up? What's up, Tigo? I think Corey Davis stays here if AR-12 comes. AR was very complimentary of Davis. Sounds like he wants him. Let's hope JD gets some inspiration from Bears fleecing of the Panthers. See, a couple of things here, right? And thanks for the comment, Straight 100 Jets. Love you, brother. I think Corey Davis is going to go the other way. I think Corey Davis is going to be a part of the trade. The Green Bay Packers have mentioned multiple times. They even called about Corey Davis at the trade deadline last year. They like Corey Davis. It would make a ton of sense if he went the other way, especially under the cap-controlled contract that he is at. At $10 million, he's an insanely cap-friendly deal, and the Green Bay Packers need a veteran wide receiver on a cost-controlled contract to partner with Christian Watson and the young guys that they've got there. So it makes a ton of sense if he went the other way. And the other thing is, I think the Panthers fleeced the Bears. If we look at the San Francisco 49ers package, it was so much more than the Panthers package, and they were coming up to 3. Imagine having to come up to 1. You should not only pay a premium for coming up, but you should pay a premium for coming up for a quarterback to the number 1 pick. And to not get that third first-round pick, I think they got fleeced. Bucks Skull Gang in-house, thank you for subscribing. I really, really appreciate it. Guys, if you want to see the dancing dinosaur, hit the sub button. If you want to see a little money sign and all of that stuff, going into the donation and do all that stuff. Super chat, skip the line, all that stuff. Back to the chat. Should the Jets trade up for Carter if falls like the whales? Thank you very much. It's me and my wife's thing. She has a matching tattoo. She has a whale on the inside of her arm. It's I forget the artist, the Starry Night. That painting, her whale is a Starry Night inspired whale. No. You can't keep trading up. We're not in trade up season. I want to say yes, Phil, because I love me some Jalen Carter. If you're telling me that we can get Carter next to Quinn, oh my gosh, it'd be Batman and Superman up the middle. Like, we would just have the Justice League on the defensive line. Like, it'd be insane. It's not going to happen. You can't keep trading up. You have to, at some point in time, you have to accumulate picks. You have to. At a certain point, you have to do it. And this is the draft where you fill the middle of your roster. We need linebackers. We need safeties. We need interior defensive linemen. We kind of sneakily need a running back. We kind of sneakily need a wide receiver. Like, this is where but we don't need a starting running back. We don't need a starting wide receiver. We might need a starting interior defensive lineman, so like Carter makes a ton of sense. But like, we don't necessarily need a starting linebacker. Like, we can start Jamie Sherwood, and I'm totally cool with that. We don't necessarily need a starting safety. Kind of sneaky, we need a backup corner, because behind Brandon Echols, I don't like anybody. God forbid, knock on all of the wood, if guys get, you know what I mean? Like, we need depth, not starters per se. Like, we need a starting offensive lineman, maybe. We need a starting defensive interior guy. And that's it. That's all we need is starters. Safety, we need depth, and we would like to replace Jordan Whitehead, but that might not happen. Like, there's a real chance that we might keep him. Like, that's a real thing. And so, like, again, there's, like, okay, I'll probably give you linebacker. Jets mess makes a good point. I believe in Sherwood. I think he can start. But I'm not going to just do on. But he has to prove it. He has to show it, and I like it. But like, okay, we need a linebacker, an interior defensive lineman, and that's it, right? Yeah, those are the only starters that we need. I'm a Packers fan, but I hope Rodgers goes to the Jets, because the Jets will actually go get free agents for him and not just rely on the draft. Thank you, Cameron Peters, for stopping by the draft. And yeah, I think we would roll out the red carpet for him. I think we would do everything in our power to make sure that he's comfortable here. And I think the Green Bay Packers abused his talent a little bit, and they were just like, you're one of the best on the planet. We're just gonna rely on you to be you. Okay, wait, had to hit the refresh on here. Give me a sec. Did I miss anything? I was on a different page. Okay, cool. Give me a second. I have this open. Let me copy. Cool. So yeah, that's my thing. I'm a Packers fan. Thank you for stopping by. Big Al, I think this draft where JD trades back from 13 to pick up an additional second or third round pick. I agree, Big Al. It makes the most sense. It's the one it's the one thing that makes the most sense. Tigo, who do you see falling to 13? And would you pick if we don't trade down? Branch, Ohio receiver? No one. There's not anyone that's at 13, not named Peter Skoronski, but that's not going to happen, that I would pick at 13. Personally. There's not one. Peter Skoronski is the only guy that I would do it. Give me a second, guys. We've got a guest in the chat. Boom, Jeremy in the chat. Wait, my headset's not on. And boom. What's up, Jeremy?
What's up, man? I'm just packing up right now, getting ready to head out to North Carolina.
You're going to North Carolina. You're going to go see Adam, Y2K.
I know. We'll be together. We'll definitely getting together on Sunday for lunch. So we're going to be eating some good food. But I just saw you throw this out there. So I said, I'll jump on, see if anything happens. Do you know anything new?
No. As far as I am aware, nothing has changed. I've got Twitter open on my third monitor. I'm waiting to see something from someone, just anything. But I'm starting to get to a point where I'm scared it's probably not going to happen tonight.
Yeah, it's getting late. Like even based on his time, like California time here,
it's like 6, right? It's like 6:30.
Yeah, it's like 6:30. I typically don't see news usually come out at this time. So. I mean, you never know for sure. I'm just getting this weird feeling I'm going to get off that plane.
And your phone's just going to be blowing up.
My phone's going to explode. And that's the feeling I'm getting.
Yeah. Again, the thing and the reason I think that maybe it does happen is that the Robert Saleh news broke at like midnight. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. That broke at midnight because he was in LA. A lot of people don't remember this, but like he mentioned it. He was in the Chargers interview when he took the Jets job.
Right.
So it's one of those things where I go like, maybe the Jets do announce things at midnight. Joe Douglas doesn't sleep. He's got a cot in the office. He's always working. I don't know. There's
yeah, I mean it is possible when you have those kind of negotiations that they're sitting in some conference rooms, they got the phones with a video conference set up, and they're negotiating and they're going all night. They're ordering food, and like there is that possibility, and that as soon as something happens, then it's just up to them. Like, does the player like Rodgers right away go to his agent and say, okay, you could say something, or do they plan it? Say, let's release it at this time.
Yeah. I'm starting to, okay, I don't want to say get concerned, but I am starting to get a little concerned that it might not happen until Monday. And like my thing is, I want to give our staff the most time to get ready for free agency that's about to happen. And that's my concern. I really want to see what's going to happen in free agency. Not what's going to happen, but like the legal tampering starts on Monday. I don't want to be behind the 8 ball because we were dealing with the Rodgers stuff. I want to be like, at some point in time, you got to go to Rodgers and be like, we got to know now, because like Monday is when we can start bringing in guys. And if you're coming, we want to go win the Super Bowl. And so we've got to go get, we got to go talk to Adam Thielen's agent, because you guys are friends and buddies, and maybe you guys want to play together. We got to go talk to Randall Cobb's agent. Like, Bobby Wagner is out there. Maybe we want to go get, I don't want him, but like, you get the gist, right? Like,
yeah,
we have to go after these veterans and start talking to them who are ring chasing to see if they want to follow you. And if not, we've got to pivot, because now we got to find a quarterback. I need you to tell me what's happening.
Right, and you got to know the cap situation too.
Absolutely.
Like, we might have a hot, like there's a center out there I know you love. What is it, Ben Jones?
Yep, out of Tennessee. I love the guy.
Right? So, like, everything could be, like, literally dependent on something happening.
Yep.
And if we're still in that ZMZ zone, and we don't know what's going on, it could be the difference between losing Ben Jones. Like, if we had Rodgers, we knew we wwere going to go for him because we wanted to have that veteran center for Aaron Rodgers, because we're saying, okay, we're going all out to win the Super Bowl. We're not going to go with a rookie this year. No matter how good of a draft pick it is, we're going with that veteran. But if we don't know if Rodgers is going to be there, the strategy might be different. And it might be, we're going to get our center in the draft, because there's not that urgency anymore, because we're not going to have that quarterback to play the all-in win-it-this-year game.
Exactly. Again, you said it perfectly, and that's the way I look at it, because specifically at center is where I look, where the strategy pivots. If you're telling me Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback that we're bringing in, or Gardner Minshew, or Jimmy Garoppolo, I'll just take Luke Whippler in the second. Like, I'm totally cool with that, because JMS is gonna go in the first, in my opinion, right? So like, we can't get JMS, just take Luke Whippler in the second. He can start immediately, and if he's a little rough around the edges, who cares? Like, just, like, literally, like, who cares? Because I don't care about Jimmy G's health. I don't care, because Jimmy G might not be the guy that's going to win us the Super Bowl. We go into, we're sticking to the plan, and we're going to develop, and we're going to do that thing, and then you try big for a quarterback. And you, like, again, I think we make the playoffs next year with just league average play, because we said that this year. If we had league average play, we're in the playoffs. And I think the plan doesn't change.
Absolutely, I agree with that. That's why, amongst other things, that's why we need an answer. The other reason is because if we have Rodgers,
my blood pressure
when Monday morning starts, just like you were saying, those veterans are looking to come to us. They're asking their agent, have the Jets called? Because Aaron Rodgers comes here, there's going to be a lot of veterans that look over their shoulder and say, this is my last chance to get a ring. That's a good place to go.
They're going to be and especially when you look at our division, the division getting weaker. You're looking at it, it makes a ton of sense. The Patriots aren't that scary. Miami's committing to Tua. The Bills keep falling apart, and the offensive coordinator's not great, and they're going to lose a lot of very, very, very important people on defense. Like, you're looking at that, and you're like, the AFC East is up for grabs right now. And if you're telling me that Aaron Rodgers is there, maybe I can go get a ring in New York and never have to work a day in my life ever again, because Jets fans will, all around the nation, will pay for anything that I ever want at any point in time, ever. You'll never pay for a meal in New York for the rest of your life if you win in New York.
I mean, we could be set up. We get Aaron Rodgers, and then those veterans are thinking that, hey, the road to the Super Bowl is literally, worst case, you have to play both Cincinnati and Kansas City. Best case, you only have to play one of them, the way it drops down. And you're that close to winning a Super Bowl, because with Aaron Rodgers and the way this team is looking, there might be veterans out there that believe, hey, we're going to walk through the season. We're going to have a great record. We're going to win that division. There's a good chance that we're really one 50-50 toss-up type game. You know, that game against the Kansas City, that game against the Cincinnati, that you have to respect those teams. But still, that's great odds, right? If you're a veteran guy, how many teams are in that position? How many teams could you say, if I go to that team, I have a realistic, top 8 team in the NFL, like, chance of getting that Super Bowl ring? And I think with Aaron Rodgers, that's where we're going to fall. We're going to be the top 8 in the NFL. And they seem to feel that way in Vegas.
Yep, absolutely. Again, and the great part about this season is that we have to play Kansas City in the regular season. That, to me, if we have Aaron Rodgers as an AFC Championship pregame, we're going to have tape on those guys. We're going to kind of know and get familiar with how they play, and how they're also going to get familiar in whatever with how we play, so it's a double-edged sword. But it's not like we're going to go into that matchup cold. We're going to go into that matchup with some knowledge and some information under our belt. And don't forget that we've played Cincinnati the past 2 years. We've got a lot of tape against Cincinnati with this coaching staff. We know what Cincinnati's about. So I think you're absolutely right when it comes to that.
And what's great about, like, with us, when we replay a team, as far as learning about the other team, the one thing about us is it doesn't matter if you've played our defense before, because there's no secrets to our defense.
No.
You know right now what you're getting with our defense. We're going to try to get to you with 4. We're going to play a lot of zone. I mean, we you know exactly what the Jets are going to bring. You know what the Niners are going to bring. It's the same thing. It's the same defense. And basically what it means is it's not about whether you know or understand it. It's about whether or not you can do it. It's, do you have the talent to stop, and score off that defense and overmatch them? So I don't feel like by playing Kansas City, we give anything away.
Nope.
I feel like our defense learns about Patrick Mahomes and what it's like to be on the field with him.
Yep.
And they'll learn from, what do we have to do better to stop this guy? What does he get? What did he get away with that first game? But the approach to us, it doesn't change. It's like, what are you going to change strategy-wise going against the Jets defense the second time? I mean, it wasn't a secret the first time.
No,
it's
like we're gonna play cover 3.
Yeah,
we're playing cover
exactly
3.
What we're bringing,
guys.
Yeah.
We're playing cover 3. Now, what version of cover 3? We're playing cover 3. Worst case scenario, we're playing a Tampa 2. That's it. Those are the only 2 play calls that we do. It's cover 3 and Tampa 2. That's it. If we have the single high safety, it's a cover 3. If we have 2 safeties up top, it's a cover 2. Expect CJ Mosley to take the deep center. That's it. And then every once in a while, like 30% of the time, we'll play man coverage. That's it. It's not hard. Playing against the defense, the Jets defense isn't hard in the sense of knowing what the play call is. Everybody knows what the play call is. The problem is, how are you going to beat Sauce? How are you going to beat DJ? Now that we got Chuck Clark, a lot of people are sleeping on this Chuck Clark trade. This is huge. How are you going to beat Chuck Clark? How are you going to beat CJ? Quinnen is going to ruin your game plan on the offensive line. How are you going to stop that? Like, that's the real part of it, that it's just like, oh, Jermaine just had his kid.
Jermaine Johnson?
Yeah.
Nice.
He's a girl dad. That's awesome. Hey, look at that. Congratulations, Jermaine Johnson, and with your
JJ.
new daughter. Oh.
You know what he should name her?
What's that?
26. You should just name her 26. Come here, 26.
Oh, I love it.
He's probably not thrilled about that number, but I am.
Oh, yeah, I don't care. I love that number. I love that number.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it'll be the year 2026, I think, when we're going to find out if we're going to extend them and keep them and all that stuff. So,
yeah, I think he sticks around. I think we keep him.
Hopefully.
I like JJ. I think he's gonna have a really, really good year this year. Oh, is he gone? I think he's gone. Well, that was Jeremy for stopping by. Oh crap, I'm so far behind in the chat, guys. I'm gonna speed through chat and I'm gonna catch up. Thank you, Jeremy, if you're still in the chat, for stopping by. I appreciate you. Appreciate you a ton for stopping by and hanging out. The link is out there for a couple more people if they want to join up and hang out. Oh, and he's back. He's back. Give me a sec.
That was strange.
That was weird. What happened?
I don't know. I still heard you. I heard you gone. Where are you? And I said, what's going on?
Yeah, you just had a black screen.
That's weird.
Yeah, very weird. But yeah, we're just on Aaron Rodgers watch. That's it. That's what we're doing.
That's cool. Look, I'm gonna have to go anyway.
Yep.
We're packing. We're leaving for the airport. Not too long. We're gonna head out. So I will be in touch, and I know there'll be plenty of messages from you and everybody when I get there. The problem is that sometimes I put on our Twitter group. I open up the group, and you guys went on to other conversations. So I get the you're late to the game. You're late when I put any kind of news in there. So this one though is going to be very obvious though.
Oh yeah. If you turn your phone on and there's 100 messages in the group chat, know that Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. If there's like
absolutely.
20, just Nick said something dumb. That was it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the only options.
Anyway, next time we'll talk, I'll be on your coast. So.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I'll see you on the other side.
Hey, have a safe trip. All right.
Thanks, man. Take care, everyone.
Jets Chaos. Love that man. Great dude. He gave me my first shot. Fun fact. With my channel. I started my channel because of Jets Talk 24/7 and his call-in show, and talking to Ryan inspired me to start my channel. So I started Talking Jets with Tigo. And that was really, really cool. And then at about 55 subscribers, Jeremy had me on. And then 2 weeks later, Jeremy had me back on, and I was at 500 subscribers. And then a week later, Jeremy had me back on, and I was at 1,000 subscribers. And then a month later, I was at about 1,800 subscribers. And then we've slowed down with the sub numbers. But the explosion of the channel was awesome, and Jeremy gave me my first shot, and that was great. And I appreciate that man for all of the things that he does. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to speed through the chat to try to catch up because I want to talk with all you guys. Spencer Man, guys, if Corey Linsley is available, he is 12 center for years and years. That would be massive. Corey Linsley is my number one target if he gets cut. I love this. I'm probably the biggest Rodgers fan outside of Green Bay. I watched him play in Super Bowl 45 when I was 9. I really hope we get him. Alex Carr, me too. I love Aaron Rodgers. Great job, Diego. First time on your podcast. Sub, like, and like this channel. Thank you very much, Phil. Tight end, so we could release a high-money guy tight end that we currently have. Can't do it. We would take a dead cap hit, Phil, if we did it. We literally cannot get out from under the contract of CJ Uzomah or Tyler Conklin, like at all. If we cut Tyler Conklin, he's an $11 million dead cap hit. If we keep Tyler Conklin, he's a $9 million cap hit. You're losing $2 million to cut it. You don't save money. You don't save anything. And Tyler Conklin with Aaron Rodgers, I think that's 11 or 12 touchdowns. I'm just saying. Wow. Okay. On first look, I thought the Panthers got fleeced. Interesting. Yeah. No, I don't think. I think the other way. I think the Panthers fleeced the Bears. I think Poles, a rookie GM, looked at this deal, thought it was good enough. I wouldn't have thought it was good enough, and boom, easy breezy. Cool Starry Night Whale. Yep, my wife's whale's pretty cool. Chargers want to be competitive. Getting rid of Lindsley wouldn't be in line with that. It would be because you can get John Michael Schmitz at 21, Nathan. I agree. They want to be competitive, and them going all in for the Super Bowl makes a ton of sense. And yeah, oh my God. Dark Soldier. Thank you so much with this super chat. Just because. I love you, Dark. Fun fact. For my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, I was giving a Zach Wilson is good t-shirt back when we were all still believing in Zach, and Dark Soldier, he won that giveaway. So he has a matching Zach Wilson is good t-shirt with me. It's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. But the thing, Nathan, going back to this, is that they are they're in a really tight spot with the cap, and they need to save money. And I believe that Corey Linsley is a massive cap hit. Let me pull this up really quick, because I believe he's like a $27 million cap hit or something this year. So, like, I'm not saying that they can't, like, they're negative $7 million in the cap, and Corey Linsley is a $13 million cap hit. And they can save $10 million if they designate him a post-June 1st cut. So, if they're trying to get under the cap, and if they're trying to do those things, Corey Linsley could be a cap casualty. Now, I get it. They should keep him. But maybe, just maybe. Alrighty, let's keep anything? Aaron Rodgers? No Aaron Rodgers news. Bajan Brees would be sick. Yes, but it's just a misallocation of assets. Sherwood, no way he's a starter. I think he is, but I get it. We haven't seen enough from him to be like 100% confident. Carter is a stud, though. Would be scary defense. Oh, absolutely. When we were talking about him, I totally agree. Where I live in Minnesota, originally from Brooklyn, New York, this Rodgers deal is done for sure. Everybody here in Minnesota and Wisconsin is saying Rodgers already picked Jets. Vikings fans are happy. They should be, man. They should be. Jeremy, snacks, gonna be chaos. Also, big talk that Adam Thielen is headed with Rodgers to the Jets. So is Cobb and that OBJ. Again, there's a lot of veterans who are going to want to come to the Jets. What Jeremy said from Jets Chaos and Cravat Attack, go follow and subscribe those channels, is absolutely correct, right? There is a good and a real, and I'm not recommending this. I'm going to do the math here. What would happen if we cut Denzel Mims? I'm not saying to do it, calm down. But do we save money if we cut Denzel Mims? Not really. He's also a he's a $1.5 million cap hit. We save $1 million. Never mind. There's no point in cutting him. So that's not a real thing. But like Minnesota Jets fan makes a great point. If Adam Thielen and Randall Cobb want to chase a ring, come to the New York Jets. Make it happen. Like, you know what I mean? Let's do it. Like, I'm so totally down to running those two guys, because you know what that means? It means Jeff Smith isn't going to be a Jet. You know? And how good does that sound? Let that sink in. Jeff Smith will never see the field again as a New York Jet. Because Randall Cobb will be there. And because Adam Thielen will be there. I'm on board. You know, I like that idea. I agree, Tigo. It's time sensitive. The earlier Rodgers sign, the earlier we can move forward with at full speed. Yep. Rodgers here with other upgrades. I say a very, very possible win division and 11 to 12 wins. Oh, yeah. Really easily. 10 home games next year. Yep. meant next year to cut a tight end. But like if we cut a tight end next year, like let's say we move on from Conklin next year because that's when it makes sense to move on from him. I would like to promote Jeremy Ruckert because I think he has all of the talent in the world. CJ Uzama with his restructure kind of makes him uncuttable. We're going to have to keep him for the next 2 years. And so there's that. And so, yeah. I don't want OBJ. I get that sentiment too. I understand the not wanting OBJ. It makes a ton of sense why you wouldn't want OBJ. Also, I don't know whose Twitter handle this is. It's fantastic. The Fire of Xantos, hashtag take flight. You scared the ever-living bejesus out of me. I was sitting here and I got the notification. That's my wife and my baby boy. And I was like, it's happening! And no, it was you following me. I appreciate follow me. Thank you for following me. I'll say it again. Jets Twitter. Jets with Tigo right there. Boom. If you want to leave a donation. Boom. Right there. But yeah. Hot Billy. My buddy's cousin is Joe Douglas. It's a done deal. He'll be in green and white. IDK about Thielen, though. I hope you're right, Hot Billy. I really do. Like, I really do hope that you're right. I would love Aaron Rodgers on this team. And I think we win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers on this team. This isn't me trying to be like facetious or I legitimately think we can win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. With this team, you add a guy like Adam Thielen, and let's just say, like, you add Adam Thielen and Randall Cobb. You add Ben Jones, the center. Yo, this offensive line now looks solid. This wide receiver core looks solid. Breece Hall's going to come back, and this running back room looks solid. We're probably going to take an undrafted free agent or, like, draft a guy in the 6th round. And this system is really, really running back friendly. So, boom. That's going to happen. Like, I would love to just get the news, for us to just know, and for it to just happen. That would be so good, in my opinion. The Fire of Xantos. This is such a good name. I hope we get the breaking news tonight. Yeah, me too. I am starting to... Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. You guys are going to get an ad. I'm going to wait. I misclicked. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm gonna wait. I messed up. I hit the add button instead of the clipping button because I was gonna clip and create a highlight so that I can put this on YouTube later. My bad. Okay, cool. Hank G's back. Alrighty, cool. My bad. Sorry guys. That wasn't the thing. That wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to clip it because I made a good point. But yeah, I was gonna turn that into a short. Got to play the YouTube game. But yeah, it's interesting. Aaron Rodgers gets a much improved uniform with the Jets. God, the Packers' colors are awful. Look, I can't be saying that I can't be putting that out there on YouTube, dude. I can't. The Packers fan are gonna come in and annihilate me. Annihilate me. I'm betting the earliest is Monday. Oh, I hope not. Oh, I can't handle the weekend with this. 2 years with Rodgers, we have a legitimate 50-50 shot, flip coin, twice we win if we hit once. Oh, yeah, I think we win at least once over the next 2 years with Rodgers. 100%. Bro's got a big, wild with the hopeful predictions. This is still the Jets now. Hey, that's what the point of being the fan is. Sorry, guys. Done. What's more likely, Rodgers to the Jets or Ohtani to the Mets in 1 year? Yes. Yeah, that's my answer. Yes. Ohtani is going to be a Met in a year, I'm hoping. Love Ohtani. And the Jets are going to get Rodgers. So, yes. I like that answer. And thank you for the name comment. Thank you for stopping by the stream and hitting the subscribe button and hitting the follow button. I appreciate it. They should change the Jets strips, get rid of them. Uniform? I like it. Darren Ruff sucks. Okay. Sorry, but cheese yellow, at least make it gold or something. Well, you can't make it gold, right? Like, gold is a hard color to make on a uniform. Billy, we need to give Ruff a chance. I don't like the colors, but I like how they haven't changed. Yeah, it's one of those things it's a classic. You know what I mean? It is a classic. I hate it when my Twitter updates and it has nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. It's the worst. It's not the style, but the traditional. Yeah, I guess. In my lifetime, Queens native, all I have between Jets, Knicks, Mets is Buckner. Lol. Mets World Series win, just one. I'm due. I'm not the biggest baseball guy. I'm kind of anti the MLB right now because I want baseball to be good, and I just don't think that it's good right now. I think the product on field is absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. And you know what? I think it could be better. And I think it should be better. And I think they can be better. But it's not. And so, yeah. Alrighty, guys. Aaron Rodgers watch. We're about to hit hour 2. Anybody have anything? Any news? Anything? Does anybody have a source who knows a source? Who's sleeping with a source? Who's giving up a source or doing all that stuff? Come on. MLB should be 130 games max. Dude, I still think that's too many. I would put the MLB at 100 games. Like, honestly, I would put the MLB at 100 games. That's what I would do. I've given up on baseball and basketball. Again, I'm a passive baseball and basketball fan. I've been trying to get a Mets jersey for a while now. And there's no one on the team that really like screams, go get that guy. Like I wanted to get a DeGrom jersey, but I knew we weren't going to re-sign him. So it was just like, I don't know. Is Aaron on the Jets? No. I hope. I wish. It's 6:49 on Rodgers Land, a.k.a. Cali. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're going to have to wait until Sunday, my friend, but it will happen. Don't say that, Jake. After 54 years watching the Jets win 3 Super Bowls in a row. Oh, that would be great. Baseball is my number one sport, but this Jets offseason has taken all of my attention away from the Mets. Yeah, man. Okay. Let's get some baseball fans mad, right? This is my recommendation on how you fix baseball. What is the problem with baseball? I think it comes down to 3 things. Okay? 3 things. Here are the problems with baseball. The games don't matter. So that's number 1. The individual game doesn't matter because at the end of the season, it just comes down to who wins more series, not the individual games. So watching the individual game every single day doesn't run it. And so when the games don't matter and the product is 3 hours and 40 minutes long on average, that's a problem. So the game right now is too long and the individual games don't matter. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is not a single person on the face of the planet can tell me who Mike Trout is. If I put Mike Trout on a lineup, nobody can tell me who that is. If I put Shohei Ohtani, why did I pick 2 Angels? Well, that's weird. If I put Shohei Ohtani in a lineup, nobody can tell me who it is. If I put Tatis Jr. in a lineup, nobody can tell me who's Tatis Jr. If I put Vladdy in the baseball superstars are insanely marketable, and the MLB fails to market them. Failure. That being said, the other problem with baseball is that the pitchers are too damn good. Those are the 3 problems. The game itself right now is not a good product to watch. The players are incredibly marketable, and the MLB fails to let them market themselves. And pitchers are too good. How do you fix that? Well, there's a couple of ways that you can fix baseball. And all of you are going to be so mad at me when I say this. So let me say it, and then you can get mad at me, and we can yell at the chat, and I'll read your comments. And then, boom. The first thing that I would do is I would cut the season to 100 games. It's the first thing that I'm doing. Make the individual game matter more. In hockey, it's an 82-game season, and the games matter. So I'm cutting the games. Now, baseball would never do that because they lose a bunch of TV revenue, but that's what I would do. The pitch clock would have been something that I said that I would have implemented. They've already implemented it. So Boom. Now each individual game should get more viewership, and the pitch clock is going to say, going to have to say that, like, the pitch clock is great because it's lowered the times of the games. They're about 2.5 hours. That's fantastic. And now if I cut it down to 100 games, the games matter. Beautiful. Awesome. The other thing that we need to address is 3 true outcome baseball, because baseball either ends in an out, in a home run, or in a strikeout. It's 3 outcome baseball. And that's all because pitchers are throwing harder than ever, and batters are hitting these balls that are being thrown harder than ever with exit velocities that are higher than ever, and we're just hitting home runs. So, how do you nerf pitchers? I would move the mound back 3 or 4 feet. What does that do? 1, it gives the batters an extra, I think it's a quarter of a second to see the baseball. Right? Gives them an extra quarter of a second to see the baseball. And the other thing is that it would lower the velocity that the ball hits at over the plate by 8 miles per hour. Which means that exit velocities would drop by 10 to 20 miles per hour. And now, a lot of players that have home run hitting ability, they don't have that power anymore. So now they have to change their strategy, and we're going to get more balls in play, and we're going to get more singles, more doubles, more steals, and all of those things. And that is how you fix baseball. There you go. That's how I would fix baseball. That's it. Simple. Oh, and the MLB needs to stop being dumb. Let your players market themselves. Let your players let them go off. Like, I never if a batter hits a home run on you, stare that thing down. Stare it down. Like, just watch it. Just sit there and admire your work, because you beat the other guy. You should be allowed to do that. So that's me. Right, let's see how mad you guys are. Baseball can be very boring, absolutely. Best sport to watch real time is baseball, relaxing/boring, like a day at the park, eating, etc. Hockey, great in-person event as well. Football can't see, and basketball moves too fast in person as well. I love hockey in person. I'm a huge hockey guy. I'm a Maple Leafs fan. Love it. But yeah, best sport football TV #1. Yep. Baseball is like, I want to turn it on in the 7th inning, then it's cool to watch. Yep, absolutely. The only baseball celebrity that crossed over is probably just Judge. Still, the average person, I don't think is going to know who Judge is. The sports fan is going to know who Judge is. But you're telling, like, I think the average person can pick out Patrick Mahomes in a lineup. You know what I mean? Jeremy Fowler, why are you tweeting anything that has nothing to do with Rodgers? Oh my God, who cares about Denzel Perryman? $100 to whoever can, and not really, whoever can tell me where Denzel Perryman plays without looking it up. You've got 30 seconds to tell me where he plays. Basketball games don't matter until 2 minutes left. 100%. You need to let players play defense again. I'm not a Paul George guy, but his comment recently where he said you can't play defense now, offense is overpowered, he is 100% right. Incorrect, Nathan Colgrove. He's on the Raiders. Have to say, can't remember name the pitcher/hitter is ridiculous. Best since Babe. I don't know. Pitchers are legit the most sensitive athletes there are. It's comical. How dare you celebrate a home run, but they can pound their chest when I strike. Thank you, Dark. Oh, I knew I loved you. These days, pitchers can't stay healthy. Rodon for the Yankees went down yesterday. Really? That sucks. Salty. Naughty. No one can sit through baseball. It's meant to take naps with the fam. I love it. My only issue with the NBA is every year there's only 4 legitimate teams who can win. I can fix basketball too. Ready? I can fix basketball. Super easy. And I think everyone would love this plan. First thing you're going to do is going to lower the salary cap on every team by $20 million so that they can't keep as many Supermax players on their team. Oh my gosh, the NBA PA is going to freak out. No way the Players Association. Here's how you do it though. You're going to add 4 new teams to the NBA. So you're going to create 12 new jobs, right? You're going to create 4 more Supermax contracts. And you're going to expand the league so that there's more players. You're going to add a team in Vancouver. You're going to add a team in Vegas. You're going to add a team in Montreal. And you're going to add a team in Nashville. Boom. Basketball is fixed. Oh, and let players play defense. Get more physical with the sport. Let them actually play defense more. Boom. The sport is fixed. That's it. Because the problem is the super teams, right? That's always been the problem with basketball. All of the players want to accumulate to the best teams. Well, if the salary cap literally doesn't let you get more than 1 or 2 players, they're going to have to spread out more competition. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. Lower the salary cap by $20 million. Add 4 new teams. So they're adding 4 new markets and 12. What's 12 times 4? 48 new rich NBA basketball slots. Easy breezy. And because you're adding 12 new spots, what's going to happen is the talent level is going to drop because there's not 48 NBA superstars just like waiting in the G League. So the league is going to get worse objectively because you're going to add 48 new players. But because you're lowering the salary cap, like the Golden State Warriors are not going to be able to keep their 3 guys whose names are Curry. What are their names? Man, it always when I need the name, I blank out. What's his name? What are the names? Steph Curry. Who's the other Splash brother? Somebody help me out. Draymond Green. Who's the other one? Klay Thompson. Got it. Oh, there it is. So, yeah, there. Boom. Fixed basketball. Easy breezy. I actually have more issues, but that's the main one. I don't know which one. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Not going to lie, 100 games could help the players out and stay healthy. Yep. I think I did this one already. I like to remember the Batista bat flip. Oh, it's so good. I love watching the Batista bat flip. It's so good. Oh, he's just like, And then I love it. Chargers, like I said, Nathan, no, he's on the Raiders. Lol, Nightbot sensitive tonight, eh? Oh, my gosh. Did she get you, Nalty? Oh, my bad. Damn, you got. I got to fix Nightbot. I got to go fix Nightbot. Let me write that down. She did that earlier today with somebody. Fix Nightbot. Boom. Written on my calculator thing. I'm going to fix Nightbot later. You can't see it. There it is. Boom. Fix Nightbot. I got you. My bad. Shohani, Otani, the Asian pitcher slash hitter, is amazing. No one since Babe like him. Yep. So Aaron Rodgers hasn't called the Jets because he's watching baseball? 100%. He took a nap. He never woke up. I think the NBA would never do that because they love the Currys and the high offense because it brings it money, because it brings in eyes. I remember during the 2000s, the NBA didn't like the Pistons because they were a defensive team. Yep, it makes a lot of sense. But, yeah. You got to let people play. Yeah. LeBron COVID championship was bunk joke. Sure. Clay, thank you. Okay, Tigo, in all seriousness, what is Nightbot? Nightbot is just because, I don't have the biggest viewing audioship, and, I don't have, people who are in here every single time to, moderate the chat. And so that doesn't stop, these porn bots and things from coming in here. So Nightbot is a service that I have for my channel whenever I go live that helps moderate my chat. So if someone comes in and starts spamming a bunch of links and stuff like that to porn websites, I don't have to go and click and do that. Nightbot can handle that for me. All of these little messages that you see every once in a while, I think it's a little too often. I got to fix that too. But these reminders, I don't like saying those things constantly, and I think they're really not that intrusive in the chat when they come every once in a while. So I have that there. So that, again, I got to do my hustle a little bit, right? I do this just because I enjoy doing this, and I like having a conversation with you guys, but there are upgrades and there are things that I want to do. There's a lot of white space in this wall back here, and I've got a painting over there that I want to finish and put a Jets logo on, and I want to get a new camera, and I need another light because I only have one light, so, this side of my face is really, really dark, and there are things that I would like to do with the channel, and that only happens if you guys support. And obviously subscribing is the only form of support that I'll ever really, really ask for. but there are other ways to support the channel, and Nightbot does a good job of very unintrusively reminding people, you know what? You can support the channel. There's merch and all that stuff. So that's what Nightbot is. Not a fan of LeBron. Boom. Alrighty, guys. We've been live for 2 hours and 4 minutes. Think I'm gonna call it. My mouth is starting to hurt with all the talking. I'm still recovering from my wisdom teeth surgery from a while ago. Thank you so much for everybody who stopped by and hung out. But good night. Good night to everybody. Thank you for hitting the like button. Guys, we're at 52 likes. I appreciate it. Remember to leave a like on the way out. Guys, every Friday, we're going to be doing this stream. So come hang out next Friday. We'll be talking Aaron Rodgers. We'll be talking free agency. We're talking everything. Come hang out. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I should do that. I have that set up. I forgot to do it. That's on me. Thank you for reminding me. Next Friday, I'm going to see if I can figure it out. We're going to have a call-in show. We're going to see if we can make that happen. Thank you for the stream. Have a good night. Thank you, Hank G. I appreciate it. Take care, everyone, including Nightbot. Thank you, Explosive Diarrhea. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for hitting the like button. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight and helping the time fly by. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button, the follow button on Twitter, and all of those things. I cannot express the gratitude I have for all of you guys hanging out. Let's hope we get some Aaron Rodgers news soon. And boom. Oh, Mizzo, I'm sorry. I appreciate you for stopping by. Anyway, in the end here, nothing but love. Guys, thank you for stopping by. I really, really do appreciate you. And last but not least,